At family dinner, Mom declared, when we're gone, the house and savings go to the grandkids who visit. That means your sisters. My daughter whispered. Should we bother coming any more then? I smiled and held my tongue. Months later, at the lawyer's office, the screen revealed just one heir, my unseen child, all because my grandpa. You know that feeling? The one where you've poured everything you have into family, sacrificed, shown up time and time again, only to have them tell you, right to your face, that you and your kid just don't count? Because that's exactly what happened to me. And let me tell you, that moment, it twisted something deep inside me, making me wonder, what the hell happens next when you finally decide you've had enough? My name's Malcolm, and yeah, I'm 38. I fix engines for a living. Most days, I've got oil under my nails, coffee in a thermos, and a busted radio in the garage playing classic rock that cuts out every time the air compressor kicks on. In my family, I'm the background guy, the one who fixes things. If something rattles, I'm the guy under the table turning a wrench while everyone else just keeps eating. Sunday dinner is one of those rituals, the one I get guilt-tripped into missing if I ever dare pick up an extra shift. This particular Sunday, Mom had her big announcement voice on, that slightly saccharine tone she uses for big news. Dad, bless his heart, just stared at his plate like the peas might suddenly organize themselves into a protest. My sister, Kara, and her husband had their two boys glued to iPads, sound off, their little thumbs flying like they were training for the Olympics. My daughter, June, she's 12, sat next to me, quietly tapping the salt shaker, a little rhythm only I seemed to notice. Then Mom raised her glass. When we're gone, she announced, looking past me, past June, out at some hypothetical, sparkling horizon. The house and the savings go to the grandkids who show up. Silence. You could feel it settling over the mashed potatoes. Then, she flashed a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. It was more of a smirk, really. That means Kara's boys, she added, with a light, airy laugh, as if it were the funniest joke in the world. I didn't cause a scene. That's not my style. But I swear, the subtext hit me so loud it made my ears throb. Translation, June and I? We don't count. We don't post enough brunch photos. We don't stay until midnight for those family events. We don't perform family the way they want. Kara, of course, leaned back, all faux humility. Oh, Mom, she purred. Don't make it about us. It's about who's present. Mom's eyes landed on my work shirt, specifically on the embroidered name patch. Who shows up, she emphasized. I almost laughed. Almost. I mean, 412 Saturdays spent under cars at the shop. 5 winters plowing their driveway before dawn. Showing up felt like my entire damn hobby. June nudged me. Under the table, her shoe found mine. She whispered, should we stop coming then? Heat climbed my neck. Not anger, not really. Just that old, familiar weight. The mechanic in me wanted to list the parts. Years. Dollars. Miles. I wanted to remind Mom that June had spent last Christmas Eve on the living room floor building a Lego garage with Grandpa, while Kara was posting selfies from a ski condo. I wanted to ask, who shows up, and then slide a stack of receipts across the table. But instead, I just smiled at June and took my hand off the metaphorical grenade. Eat your green beans, I said, as gently as I could. Dad cleared his throat. Let's not. Mom waved him off. I'm just saying, Malcolm, we don't want any confusion later. Kara's boys are always here. They help. They care. June didn't even look up. I care, she said, so small I almost missed it. Kara's husband coughed into his napkin, like it was an applause cue. The boys just kept scrolling. I chewed my food slowly, watching the gravy congeal, and told myself this was just another comment in a lifetime of them. I didn't argue. I didn't take the bait. I finished washing the dishes after everyone had to run, and then I drove June home in my old F-150, the one with the soft rattle in the passenger door that I still hadn't fixed because it reminded me of Grandpa's truck. At a red light, June asked, do you think Grandma meant it? I think, I said, choosing my words carefully, like bolts out of a tray. Grandma likes saying things out loud so she can hear herself think. June nodded, watching the raindrops race on the glass. I kept my eyes on the road and didn't say anything else. But that sentence, the house and the savings go to the grandkids who show up. It sat in the cab with us, buckled in, quiet as a socket set. That night, I pulled a cardboard file box from the top shelf of my closet and set it on the kitchen table. It felt like a small engine I'd been pretending wasn't misfiring. I wasn't going to fight, I told myself. I was just going to look. Now, let me back up a bit. I grew up in a 2-bedroom ranch with a yard just big enough for Dad's smoker and a patch of clover that simply refused to die. Kara got the room with the bigger window. I got the couch for a year while Dad finished the basement. It's still studs and a single dangling bulb down there, by the way. Here's the thing. I never minded being the fixer. I actually liked knowing how things worked. Grandpa Ray taught me. He was a carpenter with hands like kiln-dried oak and a grin that made you think of Saturday morning cartoons. I spent more time in his garage than anywhere else. He always said, machines don't lie. If something's wrong, it tells you if you listen. Mom, on the other hand, she liked people who sparkled. Kara sparkled. Pageants, choir solos, report cards you could post on Facebook with a caption like #blessed. I brought home alternators and perfect bowling games. My kind of wins didn't exactly fit on the mantelpiece, you know? And for a long time, that was fine. Until it wasn't. 3 quick scenes for you. When I was 19, Kara Civic died on I-295 at midnight. I drove 30 miles with a tow strap and a flashlight clenched between my teeth, then lay in slush under her bumper to get her home. Mom's response: "Thank God for AAA," and she handed Kara a blanket. AAA never came. I didn't correct her. When I was 26, Dad lost his job. The mortgage got scary. I took on 2 extra shifts and loaned them $850 a month for a year. Mom called it a family blessing. That Christmas, Kara opened an espresso machine. I got socks with little wrenches on them. When June was born, I texted a photo to the family chat. Kara heart reacted, and then immediately launched into planning my daughter's brand. Mom wrote, "So happy." Months later, when Kara announced she was getting a puppy, Mom sent 16 messages and a voice memo. I kept showing up, because I believed family is what you do, not what you post. Then, the house. Dad's back went out. Payments slipped. I could have said, sell it. But this wasn't just any house. It was Grandpa Ray's. He'd built the front steps himself and carved his initials on the underside of the banister. Mom always liked to say, "This house stays in the family." I liked that sentence too, the way it sounded in my head when I was pushing the mower in an August heat wave. "Help us refinance," Mom asked 5 years ago. "We'll put you on the deed. You'll save the house. We'll make it right." The numbers? $329,874.12. That's what the mortgage was after the refinance closed. I know because I wrote it at the top of a legal pad the day we sat with Brenda, the loan officer with the lemon-printed blouse. I signed as co-borrower so they'd qualify. Brenda said, "You're a good son." Mom squeezed my arm. "I know," she beamed. For 60 months straight, I paid exactly $5,612 every 4 weeks. $1,886 for the mortgage draft, plus $726 for taxes and insurance, bulked in a separate envelope if the escrow ran short. I have the Zelle screenshots. I have the transfers. I even have the times I ran cash down to the bank when the AC hiccuped and the teller wrote, "Thank you, Im," on the receipt like we were old friends. 5 years. Skipped winter tires. A vacation June and I didn't take. "It will stay in the family," Mom repeated, like a prayer. 2 summers ago, I fixed a leak in the upstairs bath. When I opened the vanity kick plate, I found a thick envelope wedged behind a trap. Not money. Old mail. The top letter was from the county. Change of deed notification. The names on the deed were Robert Whitaker, my mom and dad, and Kara Emerson. Not mine. I stood in that tiny bathroom, flashlight in hand, with the slow drip of a stubborn P-trap, and read line after line until the letters squirmed. Gift deed. No consideration. Record of transfer. I set the envelope on the toilet lid and stared at a tiny black mold spot I'd meant to scrub a year ago. I didn't say a word. That night, I put June to bed and sat at our kitchen table with that cardboard file box. And I started what I later called, in my head, the receipts. Bank statements. Zelle exports. Screenshots of Mom's texts. "Can you cover this month, kiddo? We're tight. Kara's got the boys' tuition due." Emails from the loan officer. As discussed, Malcolm's name to be added to deed post-close via quitclaim. A calendar reminder I'd set for myself the week after closing. Notary. Add to deed. Mom rescheduled that notary 3 times. "Oh, we'll do it next month. Your sister needs to get off work for signatures." It never happened. I printed everything. I made tabs. I labeled a flash drive. I even took photos of the underside of the banister, of Grandpa's initials, and printed those too. It felt important. Something else was bothering me. A little click in my brain, you know? The house wasn't just a house. It was technically part of the Ray Whitaker family trust, a document Grandpa's friend, Mr. Alvarez, the old lawyer with the stubborn tie knot, had drafted in 2001 after Grandma died. I remembered because I'd been 12, and Grandpa had asked me to help him scan something fancy. In the file box, under a stack of old shop manuals, I found a photocopy Grandpa had given me for safekeeping, back when he realized I liked keeping screws in their own bins. I read that trust at midnight with a highlighter. Legal language felt like instructions in a different language, for an engine I only recognized by its sound. Then I found it. A subsection under distribution of primary residence. I only remembered it as a shape on paper from years ago. Section 4.7, Maintenance and Preservation Contributor Clause. I circled it. I didn't sleep. Subsection 4.7 said, in human words, that if any descendant by blood made material contributions for not less than 60 consecutive months to preserve the residence from foreclosure, that descendant had the power to appoint the remainder interest to his or her issue, or failing that, to said descendant. It also said any later transfer or gift could not override the clause. I sat very still. I thought about Mom saying, "The grandkids who show up." And I thought about June, handing Grandpa Ray screws in order by length at the workbench when she was 5, because she liked the way he'd say, "That's my girl. She listens." Kara came by for photos on the porch at golden hour. June came by when the sump pump died. I didn't rush. I went quiet. The next months, I added more to the file. A PDF of the refinance instructions, Brenda's email, post close. Add Malcolm to title via quitclaim. I highlighted the sentence. A screenshot of Mom's message. Can you Venmo the insurance shortage? $726. Timestamped. I annotated it with a pencil like a lunatic on a crime show. A photo of Kara at the housewarming she threw herself when the boys graduated from preschool. The caption in the family chat, home at Mom's, where the memories are. My daughter, June, is in the background, holding a shop rag, face smudged with graphite from the garage. No likes. I wasn't planning revenge. I was building a diagram. If it had a belt, I would have traced it. Then came Mom's announcement about grandkids who show up. Grandpa's voice echoed in my head. Machines don't lie. Neither do documents. It wasn't Christmas or a birthday. It was a Saturday family cleanup day. Mom's idea, complete with a sign-up sheet. Kara texted like she was planning a charity gala. Bring gloves, she added. I brought a box. In the driveway, Dad adjusted his back brace and nodded at me without meeting my eyes. Kara set up a snack table, store-bought cookies, sparkling water, the good napkins. The boys dragged branches for about 5 minutes, then vanished. June and I cleaned the gutters. I let the ladder bite into my shoulder. Focus helps. Around noon, when Mom declared, let's break for lunch and talk about next steps, I wiped my hands and said one thing. In the voice I use at the shop when I'm about to tell someone their timing chain isn't just noisy, it's 2 hours from catastrophic. Mom smiled, like she was already bored. Make it quick. Kara has practice pickup. I set the cardboard box on the picnic table. Labeled tabs. Stacks of paper. A USB drive in a small Ziploc bag. What's this? Kara asked, laughing like I'd brought show and tell. Receipts. Yes, I said. Mom shifted. Malcolm, if this is about Thanksgiving, it's about the house, I said evenly. Dad's eyes flicked up. I don't yell. I build short sentences. Torque specs for 5 years, I stated. I paid $329,874.12 in mortgage and shortages. That's 60 months, not missing one. Here are the transfers, drafts, and the times I covered the escrow myself. I slid a color-coded stack forward. Mom didn't take it. Kara glanced at it like paper gives her hives. I was told I'd be on the deed after the refinance. Brenda's email says so. Your text rescheduled the notary 3 times. I picked up the county notice, holding it like a damaged gasket. Then I found this. Gift deed to Kara. That's not. Mom started. It's legal, Kara said, arms folded, chin up. Parents can gift. It's our family. We agreed. I'd eventually. Dad said, Kara, in a warning voice I hadn't heard since I was a teenager. I didn't look at them. I opened the trust copy and slid out a clipped page. Section 4.7, I said. Maintenance and preservation contributor clause. What? Kara blinked. I read it. Carefully. Calm. The way Grandpa taught me to read torque values twice. I pointed to the line with my finger, then slid a printed screenshot from the scanned PDF I'd pulled off my old email. Grandpa's scan. The one I'd helped with at 12. There was a faint hash mark in his handwriting in the margin. It felt like a hand on my shoulder. Any later transfer, I read, is void against this clause. Mom's smile collapsed like a bad souffle. Oh, please, she scoffed. That's ancient. Your grandfather put that in to feel important. Dad rubbed his jaw. The lawyer is still alive, I said. Mr. Alvarez. I called and asked if the trust was amended. It wasn't. He remembered Grandpa Ray using the phrase, the one who keeps the lights on. He also remembered this. I tapped another page. The appointee is allowed to appoint the remainder to his or her issue. What does that mean? Kara's voice sharpened. It means, I said, my heart steady. I choose who gets the house after Mom and Dad's life estate ends. And because you executed a gift deed, ignoring the clause, I retained that appointment. I filed an appointment with Mr. Alvarez this week. Who? Mom demanded. You? Kara challenged. I looked at June. She looked at me like I'd just handed her a headlamp and said, You ready? No, I said to Mom. June. The air went quiet in the yard. You've lost it, Kara said, brittle. You can't put a child on. Trust law allows a designation to a minor's UTMA trust with a custodian. I interrupted. Clause 4.7 doesn't restrict appointment age. Mom looked at Dad. Robert. Dad kept staring at the paper like it might speak again. Malcolm. Mom said carefully, the way you talk to a customer you're trying to upsell. Be reasonable. The house belongs with the grandkids who show up. I asked. I didn't raise my voice. I turned to June, who'd helped me unclog the sump pump at 2 a.m. last March. She raised a hand, then dropped it, confused, then half smiled. Who helped Grandpa Ray sort screws by size at that workbench the year before he died? I asked, my voice softening. Me, June whispered. This isn't about revenge, I said, turning back to Mom and Kara. This is about closure. Kara scoffed. You think you're some hero for keeping a roof on a house you also live in sometimes? Grow up. We have kids. They need stability. June's fingers found the hem of my jacket and held it tight. I've retained counsel, I said. There will be a letter. The gift deed is void against the clause. The remainder is appointed. Life goes on until it doesn't. That was it. I closed the box. I didn't slam it. I picked it up, nodded to Dad, and walked June to the truck. By the time we hit the first red light, my phone started buzzing. Mom. Kara. Unknown numbers. Group chat pings, a cousin, then dad, then mom again. 27 missed calls by the time we pulled into our driveway. I let the engine idle. The rattle in the passenger door hummed like a metronome. The flood started before we even took our boots off. Selfish, Mom wrote. You're ruining the family. You don't even understand what this does to the boys, Kara texted, then followed with 8 voice notes where she alternated between crying and pronouncing legal terms like she was auditioning for a courtroom drama. One said, think of the kids, twice. Dad texted, call me. Uncle Paul. Bud, think about your mother's health. Aunt Wendy. Your sister has enough on her plate. She can't move again. A number I didn't recognize sent. You'll be sorry in court. We'll bury you. Then, 5 minutes later, sorry, wrong text. Meant to send to Kara. Then a thumbs up. By the first night, 42 missed calls, 19 voicemails, 31 texts across 3 threads. By morning, 68, 26, plus 1 new group added. You. I'm not dramatic. I didn't respond. I called the only number I wanted to call, Mr. Alvarez's office. I confirmed receipt of my signed appointment and the custodian designation for June's UTMA trust. He said, good morning, Malcolm, and sounded like he'd been expecting the storm since 2001. He promised to send a letter to the county regarding the void gift deed and to Mom and Dad's counsel of choice, once they retained one. I prefer letters, he said. They make people breathe. I hired a tenant-landlord attorney who knew trust intersections and sent a clean, dry notice to Mom and Dad through certified mail. Life estate unchanged, remainder appointed, no immediate impact on possession. No rent demanded, no locks changed. It was the least dramatic version of a sledgehammer. Kara called 17 times in one afternoon. I put my phone face down and changed the oil in a customer's Tacoma. My hands remembered how to be a mechanic. Oil filter off. Gasket checked. Funnel steady. Torque 25 FTLBS. Not too much. Wipe check. Breathe. June watched from the step stool at the bay door. I taught her to look for double gasket mistakes. Engines don't forgive pride. Most nights, I didn't sleep much. Not because I was scared of court. I wasn't. But because the noise in my head sounded like group chat pings, even when my phone was off. I made tea instead of coffee. After 7 p.m., I stopped checking my phone in bed. I put the cardboard file box back in the closet and stacked June's school project on top of it. She's building a birdhouse. The plans are sketched like a blueprint Grandpa would have liked. The family found new angles. June will hate you when she realizes you stole from her cousins, Aunt Wendy wrote. You're spiteful, Mom wrote. Your grandfather would be ashamed. Then an hour later, can we talk? Your sister's boys cried themselves to sleep. Then, your daughter should not be used as a pawn. Then, you always were jealous. Dad finally texted a full sentence. I didn't know about the clause. Then, I'm tired. I sent him one line back. I'm not taking the house from you. He didn't reply, but he sent a photo the next day of the underside of the banister. Grandpa's initials, the date carved in with a shaky hand. No caption. The lawyer's letters went out. A county clerk responded with a stamp and a sentence longer than a drive shaft. Gift deed recorded on date. Is void as to the remainder interest by virtue of Section 4.7 of the Ray Whitaker Family Trust. Indexing will reflect life estate only to current possessors. Remainder appointed to UTMA FBO June Whitaker, custodian Malcolm Whitaker, under instrument dated date. I read it twice, and I breathed like I just torqued a lug nut perfectly. I didn't post anything. Kara posted everything. Screenshots, cropped paragraphs about betrayal. Her face angled in good light, with a caption about lessons from pain. People commented with hearts and swords. Cousins picked sides in private. June and I, we changed little things, not big ones. We ate breakfast at the table instead of standing at the counter. We kept a notebook by the door and wrote down dumb, good things about the day. Saw a hawk. Truck finally passed emissions. Got the stub jar open first try. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb after 9 p.m. and didn't override it. I took June to Grandpa's garage, now half storage, half shrine. We found his old tool rules sign and dusted it. I showed her how to gap a spark plug, and she did it right the first time, because she listens. Mom drove by the shop once. I saw her Corolla in the lot through the bay door. She didn't come in. The next day, she texted, we can fix this if you apologize. I didn't reply. 2 weeks in, Kara's husband called from a number I didn't have saved. We can buy you out, he said, without a hello. 50 grand. You walk away. I almost laughed. 50 grand wouldn't touch 5 years of checks I'd written. Never mind the clause and the trust and the whole point, which wasn't money. It's not for sale, I said. And it's not mine. It's appointed to June. You know what that means. He huffed. You're impossible. Engines don't care about feelings, I said, almost kindly. They care about specs. I hung up and changed the subject in my head to something that mattered. June had a science night at school. She was making a pulley out of a skateboard truck and a shoelace. We tested it with soup cans. The nights got quieter. 82 missed calls turned into 10. 10 into 3. 3 into silence for a morning. Silence felt like a clear test drive on back roads. I slept through the night for the first time in a month and woke up to sunlight instead of a ringtone. Then an email hit from Mr. Alvarez's assistant. Please confirm attendance at Friday review meeting. All parties invited. Remote option available. I stared at the screen and thought of Mom's sentence about grandkids who show up. I thought of how showing up looks different when you stop trying to be seen. The conference room was plain. Long table, big TV, spider speakerphone. Mr. Alvarez had his stubborn tie and cardigan. Mom and Dad on one side. Cara and her husband on video, bathed in perfect lighting. June sat beside me, braid neat, hands in her hoodie. Alvarez clicked the remote. Trust on screen. Section 4.7. He said, Maintenance and Preservation Contributor Clause. Mom tried to cut in. He went on. Calm. The contributor, Mr. Malcolm Whitaker, can appoint the remainder to his issue. He executed that last week. Click. My appointment to June's UTMA. Click. County Index. Life Estate in Robert Whitaker. Remainder. UTMA FBO June Whitaker. Cara's screen froze, then returned, angry. You're giving a child a house. No, I said. Grandpa did. Mom's pen clicked like a warning. Why her? Because she showed up, I said. Silence. The speakerphone hummed. Terms are clear, Alvarez said. Life estate stays. No removal, no rent, no sale without custodian consent. Major repairs by agreement. Your father anticipated this. Dad whispered, Ray. Almost laughing. Cara pivoted. Fine. June can gift to her cousins later. Under the table, June squeezed my hand. I let the quiet stand. The old family system had stalled. Alvarez turned to her. Your great-grandfather wanted to reward the one who kept the lights on. Understand? June nodded. Yes, sir. Malcolm, Mom said, half plea, half warning. I faced them all. I'm not fighting. I'm done being loved only if I don't keep track. The clause exists. The payments exist. We showed up. We still will. On our terms. Mom's mouth shook. Holidays? Birthdays? We may come, I said. Or stay home and make stew. You don't grade our love by attendance. Poetic, Cara muttered. Plain, I said. Like engines. We stood. Alvarez handed me a manila envelope. Copy of the appointment. Stamped receipt. Heavier than it looked. At the door, Dad reached for my sleeve, then stopped. Ray would have liked this, he said. Not the fighting. The plan. Me too, I said. Outside, winter sun on June's face. So, am I a landlord? Not today, I laughed. Today, you're a kid whose great-grandpa trusted the right person. We drove off. The passenger door kept its familiar rattle. A month later, 0 group chats. 2 nights a week, we cooked something new. 5-mile loops at dusk, just because. One call from Mom asking if I could fix the porch light. I said, send a work order to the shop, and she did. The file box stays in the closet. I don't count missed calls. I keep boundaries. Here's what I know. You don't have to be the family wallet or bleed time to earn dessert. You can keep the lights on and still turn off your phone at 9 p.m. and get some sleep. When people ask about revenge, I say, this isn't about revenge. This is about closure. There's a brass key on my ring to Grandpa's workbench. I almost texted a photo, then didn't. A ping from Cara. The boys miss June. Can we schedule something? I set the phone down. Drive, I asked June. She grinned. We took the long road by the river. The door rattled its old song. At home, a voicemail waited. I made tea. I fixed nothing. Tomorrow, we might sand the birdhouse. Maybe change the shop radio. Maybe finally tighten that door. Not because someone asked. Because I want to. What would you have done in my place? Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to know.